WFM 91.7.
A beautiful afternoon to you. Thank you so much for staying with us and for joining us on the big question for today, Wednesday, the 19th of July, 2023. Hopefully your day is going on well. All right, you're welcome to the big question once again. The big question is a program where we discuss and propose solutions to issues affecting us as a nation and as citizens. All right, this comes to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12:05 p.m. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and this is about 7 minutes past the hour of 12 this afternoon. All right, today on the big question, we'll be talking about malnutrition and the Nigeria economy. That's our topic for today on the big question. Now, to be a part of the program, you can dial 07000 917 917 or do well to send a text or a WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537. 070-317 56537. All right, so on the big question today, like I said, we're talking about malnutrition and the Nigerian economy. All right, now data indicate that malnutrition is one of the world's major public health and development trepidations. In Nigeria, the situation is said to be dire. Now, to be sure, UNICEF said in its recent report that 5 in 10 children under 5 years would suffer from the effects of being malnourished. Now, this expert said may have an all-encompassing impact on the lives, future, and productivity of Nigerian children if deliberate and sustained efforts are not taken urgently to address the situation. The nutrition endemic in Nigeria has been attributed to poverty, and one of the concerns of poverty is the lack of access to nutritious food, which influences people to poor nutrition. Now, by extension, poverty increases the chances of malnutrition. Malnutrition, in turn, tricks communities in poverty. All right, and poverty and malnutrition are said to be intricately related. So, today on the big question, we will be looking at malnutrition and the Nigerian economy. And to do this with me today, and we're also looking at the devastating effect of the removal of subsidy on petrol too. I'm sure that a lot of us have actually experienced increase in transportation just between yesterday and today because of the fuel price increase. All right, so and we know that this has a ripple effect in our society. All right, to do this with me today is Dr. Isaac Idowu. He's a health finance expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Isaac. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here.
All right, hope that your day is going on well.
Yeah, so far so good. It's going on well.
All right, so talking about malnutrition and the Nigerian economy, help us understand the status of malnutrition in Nigeria as it is right now.
So earlier today I was going through the UNICEF reports on malnutrition, and there was a stat that was pointed out that stood out for me. And the fact that about 2,400 children who die every day due to malnutrition, the effect of malnutrition.
Every day.
We, in terms of the stats of malnutrition, we have one of the highest rates in the world. But there are a lot of factors that are responsible for. There's a lot of, should I say, it's not just one thing. So in other countries, for example, usually maybe one or two things. Maybe they suffered a drought, for example. Countries like Sudan, Somalia, countries and places where the climatic conditions are not that favorable. So that happens, and probably drought in combination with cases of war, insecurity, insurgency. So that leads to malnutrition in those places. But in a place like Nigeria, for example, it's a combination of so many factors. You have the economic factor, insecurity. Farmers cannot go to the farmland, they can produce. Because back in the days, if we go back to the 60s and the 70s, where Nigeria was still a bit food secure, so where most people were farmers, yes, people suffered from poverty, but the food was the last thing that they suffered from, because almost everyone had a farm. Everyone had access to farms, they had access to protein, they had access to all of those things consistently. But with time, as the economic status of the country depreciated, the structural adjustment program of the 80s under the head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, a lot of things changed. So a lot of the youth population left the rural areas. There was an increase in rural to urban migration. So what that meant was that there was a decrease in manpower and people left the country. So that affected our productivity as farmers. Now, down to the current age, the early 2000s up to now, we've had to deal with the challenges of insurgency, the Boko Haram insurgency that is just, the effects are just, we are just getting to the ending of that. That means the attacks are reduced a bit. But when you consider the fact that from 2010 to date, farmers have not really gone to farm, then you have an increasing rate of insurgency too in the northwest. Bandits, kidnapping farmers, and other farmers clashes too. So all this, so you look at every sector of the Nigerian economy, it's a battle everywhere. So wherever you look, you find these challenges. So even the ones that go to the farm, the infrastructure is not there for them to move their farm produce from the farm to the market where it's needed. So that what that means is that there is an increase in wastage because these farmers don't have facilities to store this produce. If you observe in the past few weeks, you notice that the price of tomato in the market has skyrocketed. And one of the reasons I remember when I was explaining this is that once the rainy season comes, the productivity of tomatoes decreases, and there is this disease pest called Tuta absoluta. It's called the tomato Ebola. It wipes out most of the tomato produce in the farm. So that also affects the prices. So what that means is that the price of essentials that what people can get.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Isaac, for that. All right. Now let's look at some of the factors, although you mentioned a few. You mentioned insecurity and all of that. But the major one now that we're dealing with, aside the insecurity, is even the removal of this fuel subsidy that has affected... all right, so I think we just lost a connection there with Dr. Isaac. We'll try to gain connection with him in a few minutes. All right, so let's see how we get to reconnect with him. Now, he talked about so many other factors on malnutrition, responsible for malnutrition in our economy. Hello, Dr. Isaac, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
All right, we lost you for a few minutes there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for that, for giving us what malnutrition is right now in Nigeria, the status of it in Nigeria. Now, I was saying that you mentioned quite a few factors that could be responsible for this. You mentioned how farmers are not being able to go to farm. You mentioned insecurity, and you even related it to, back in those days. Now, right now, bringing it to the present, where we have the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, could this further push a lot of children, even adults, to experience malnutrition?
Yes, it does. Because the thing is, with the increase in price, transportation is an essential part of our economy.
Sure.
And most of our transportation, most of the buses are petrol powered. So once the price of petrol jumps up, what that happens is that the trader is moving stock. People are moving about to have to increase prices. The transport workers will increase prices. The trader will also have to increase prices. There's a spiral effect. There's a projection that inflation would hit close to 30% by the end of the year.
Wow.
There's a projection like that. And what that does is that it makes people at the bottom of the food chain, basically that's the lower class and the poor people, the vulnerable ones in society, would make food items more out of their reach. It will be less able to afford that food item because at the moment we spend around 60%. The average Nigerian spends around 60% of their earnings on food items.
Sure.
Which is already an anomaly because in an ideal scenario, you're supposed to spend less than 50, if not 30 or 20%. So that will put a further strain on. So unless the government at the various levels, the local government, state government, because this is actually the government's closest to the people. start thinking fast and start addressing, introducing measures to mitigate against this spiral effect, then we would have more and more serious cases. Though in some cases, I know about one or two states where the governors have been distributing farming fuels and fertilizers to help it. But this would have to go on concurrently. That means everybody has to do it at once, because that's just like a drop or a pin drop. So unless everyone puts their effort into this at the moment, then we have a lot to contend with in the coming months.
All right. This is Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. And this is the program, The Big Question, where we get to discuss and propose solutions to issues affecting us as a nation. Now, to be a part of the program, you can dial 07000 917 917, or do well to send a text or a WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537. It's about 17 minutes past 12 on the side of the radio, and we are looking at malnutrition and the Nigerian economy with Dr. Isaac Idowu, a health finance expert. All right, Dr. Isaac, now let's look at the consequences of malnutrition. While we're dealing with a lot as a people in this country. Now, what could be the consequences of malnutrition? How does this relate to our economy as a whole?
So, now, if malnutrition goes unchecked, what happens is that the productivity of a country declines. China today is one of the most populated countries. I think India was taking them now in the world. And if you look at the stats of the most populated countries with a lot of manpower, what you find is that those ones that put their population to good use have this accelerated level of development. So you see, China is a massive manufacturing power. Even the United States, that people run to have close to 350 million people. So if a great percentage of the population in your country can't access things as basic as nutrition, what has happened is that their effectiveness, their ability to contribute effectively to the society, to the nation, has been greatly hampered. So what that means is that the nation cannot improve on its economic indices. It also means that those who are destitute, who can't access nutrition, can't access food, would have to be dependent on the few that are able to. So what that means is have the further load to the economic indices of that country. So it's why you see a lot of countries with these issues are stuck in that rut for a while, unless radical efforts are being made. So this would have an effect. It also means it causes mental retardation in children. Children who are not well fed, what happens to them is that they can't make use of their mental skills. So, and they can't contribute to the society, and they are still in that society. So exactly a scenario where in a country, in an hypothetical situation, let's say in a room, out of 100 people, if just 30 people are bringing something to the table, they'll put a strain on those 30 people. If you have another group of 100, if 70 or 80 are bringing something to the table, they'll achieve so much more than a place where 30 out of 100 are bringing something to the table. So we need to have a scenario where no one is left behind, so that we can harness the resources of everyone in our society, majority of those in our society, to take the nation forward.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Isaac, for that on this program today. All right. So let's look at how we can do better. Now, what can we do in the midst of all that we're going through when we know farmers can't go to work and we need these foods from them to actually keep up with our nutrition? Now, with the insecurity going on, with our economy not being stable and all of that, how can we then manage our nutrition? Especially for children, for young ones, and even adults too, for even those that are sick, those who are not able, who need this nutrition to be up and doing, to keep their diet in a particular stable, place so that they can function well in the society. What can we do right now to, bridge that gap that we have in our society, so that we have people who will function better and make our economy better?
So, one of the first things we will do is that now, if you ask government of Dubai, if you look through past initiatives, you see that a lot has been done or claims has been done in terms of initiatives to reverse this trend, but it doesn't yield the desired effect. So it's not as if something is wrong with the ideas or what the initiatives that have been brought to the fore. The issue has always been in implementation. So governance needs to be brought to the local level because it's someone at the local level that understands the needs of those at the local level. For example, if you talk about agriculture, for example, we're not producing as much as we can, and you give a poor farmer a tractor, a farmer that does not have up to like 5 acres of land has no use for a tractor. If that tractor breaks down, you won't be able to cost of maintenance. When you give, there are some other smaller machines, a planter, a weeder, and smaller mechanized machines that will increase its productivity, little things like that. So, but unless someone is on ground to really understand what is going on, then that's how it can be done. Then fertilizer, all those farming people have been distributed at local level, but usually politics get in the way. So people who don't need it are the ones getting it. You find fertilizers, farming people have been donated, finding their ways into the market. So I propose that, for example, women groups, I have found out that if you want to get things done in the community, across faster in the community, liaise with women groups, the market women, the women groups in the community, the women societies, you get things across. The immunization that we do, for example, or across the nation, that is usually a success. Women groups are used of all the market women, the church women, the religious groups that these women groups because they know the needs of the family. If in fact those women groups have contact features for donating, giving nutritional input, farm input, we'll begin to see something done. We begin to see a lot of, and this needs to be done concurrently at the same time. So we're not just saying just one local government, just we look, identify all of these areas, all these places that are in dire need and do it at the same time. Then concerning security, now one of the issues we have with security is that our police that is structured cannot address our security needs. We have about 400,000 police officers. 100,000 police officers for the population of close to 200 million would not be enough. If we were all familiar with the attack on the Catholic Church in Owo last year, one of the challenges, one of the things that led to that the attackers could carry on that attack without any response from security agencies. Because in that town, there was only one police post, and there are not more than 2 police officers on duty, and they don't even have a vehicle. So they can't even respond to attacks in situations like that. So we need to start making use of local vigilante, local security outfits, local contact groups, local vigilante groups. So even when there are cases of attack where the firepower may be more than that of local vigilante groups, they have means of communication to call in reinforcement. Because at the end of the day, the best security measure is actually having intelligence. If you have intelligence, you have someone on ground that can always feed the intelligence ahead of time. It's not about the firepower. You will always come out on top to address security challenges.
All right, thank you very much. Now, before we go, what are some of the the next options to actually use? Because at the end of the day, sometimes when we go around what we have in our stores, we actually would not see a lot of food that will actually help keep with the maximum nutrition that we need now, and that is what could be readily available because of the insecurity and all of that. We have lots of imported foods that might not necessarily be good for our health. So what are the other options that we could actually keep up with or that could move with that might not necessarily consume or take a lot of money? Because when you want to start looking for a particular food for for people that are diabetic now. There's a particular way, or there's a particular foods that they should keep up with. Now, well, when you look at those foods, sometimes you say, no, it's too expensive, it's this, is that. So what are the best options that we could actually go for that, might not necessarily be that might not necessarily take a lot of finances from people, to actually afford this foods that could help our nutrition be at the best place possible, so we could all, be able to function properly.
So, to the best of my knowledge, there are actually a lot of cheap nutritional alternatives on the market. So, I still think that there are a lot of cheap carbohydrates are not necessarily a problem in Nigeria. We have easy access to carbohydrates. But when it comes to proteins and other supplements, for example, we have what's called legumes, like beans, cowpeas, and all these other proteins, plant sources of protein. They're actually very cheap, easy to plant, and they have a very short period. That means that within 3 months, 6 months to age maturity. So what we need to do is liaise with a nutritionist, liaise with agri experts, plant scientists, to plant this on a large scale. Those are easy to plant. Then crayfish. Crayfish is quite cheap, and crayfish is also a sort of protein. So people can crayfish, then fish ponds, catfish, even from clay, from earthenware fish ponds, for example. Catfish is a very, very good source of protein. If you go to the hinterland, places like Oyo State, in northern part, catfish is actually quite cheaper there than in the main cities, because the cost of production is very low. Land is cheap. You don't have to construct something massive. You just have to have an earthenware structure. Crabs, all of those things can actually be deployed as soon as possible. And in the northern part of the country, there is even goat meat, for example. They almost every family is into goat farm. So you'd find these options, the chicken, the local chicken, for example. So we can start from give out these animals on family days. Let them have, back in those days, if we listen to our grandparents, everyone had this set of chickens. Even a child would be given like maybe 2 or 3 chickens. They are raise this chicken on you, and they sit on scraps. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So how about for children? So what are some of the alternatives we have for them that could, be used for them?
Now, so for children, when you talk about infants, breastfeeding works. Breastfeeding actually works, but the exclusive breastfeeding that will adequately cater for the nutrition of the child would be from an adult that is well nourished. So a mother that is well fed and well nourished will be able to well nourish the child. So breastfeeding actually works perfectly. Then you can now start looking at those variants, those crayfish powder, eggs. Eggs are very, very good and cheap source of protein. Currently, eggs cost 100 naira right now. Cooked eggs in Ibadan, for example. So they are still very, very cheap alternatives. And the local chickens can also lay eggs for children. So it doesn't have to be something extreme like that, turkey or seafood or something like that. So there are always cheap alternatives to this. You just need to have a dedicated approach to making these available to people around in these places.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being a part of our program today. We really do appreciate having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Do have a great day ahead.
You too.
Okay, so that was Dr. Isaac Idowu, a health finance expert. We talked about malnutrition and the Nigerian economy, hoping that we've now had some alternatives and we know where we stand, when it comes to malnutrition in Nigeria. All right, the United Nations World Food Programme unveiled a $2.56 billion country strategic plan for Nigeria, aimed at addressing hunger and malnutrition in some part of the northeast and northwest and other selected states. All right, so hopefully we see that all of this gets to play out. And then we know that there are also other interventions in different parts of the country also that has to do with, addressing malnutrition and hunger also, especially for children, for our young ones. So I'm hoping that the government keeps up with all of these interventions and sees that, it actually gets to achieve what all of these interventions were brought to achieve in the long run. All right, so thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our guest, Dr. Isaac Ido, for being a part of our program, and for you also for tuning in and listening to The Big Question. Do want to join us again tomorrow on Friday, beg your pardon, at 12:05, where we'll bring you the program The Big Question. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. A very big thank you to our producer, Chinyere Timothy Crown, and the executive producer, Tom Okiwale Shonaya. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser once again. Do have a blessed and amazing afternoon.
To sponsor this program, call the number 0816 480 7613.
WFM 91.7.